Good evening, everyone, and check, because this is my first time using a microphone outside to record a video, so I hope that the sound quality is good. It's Virginia Schmidt from Divinity Ranch, coming at you guys from Gestalt Studios in Powell, Wyoming. I'm just outside. I'll show you. You can maybe see back there, Gestalt. I'll show you it before I leave, and it's almost the full moon coming up over there. So today I've been doing a lot of amazing organizing, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about this idea that of sustainability and of life being a marathon and not a sprint. And this is something that I'm passionate about, and that, we all hear that old adage like pretty often, and we think, oh yeah, like life's a marathon, not a sprint. But when I was living in Australia last year, I actually did have this guy, Jamie Candler, who is a big marathon runner, tell me that one day as I was talking to him about all the running I wanted to do and all these things. And he was like, I asked him for his best advice when it came to running marathons. And he said, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's all about pacing yourself. And I've been thinking about that a lot in terms of this idea of sustainability. And that it's not, so if we want our life to be sustainable, then each day is sustainable. If we want each day to be sustainable, then each hour is sustainable. And that's not to say that maybe there aren't some crazy flashes of explosive energy or stress or challenge that happen, but then that's balanced out so that it is sustainable. So what would a sustainable day look like for you guys? Because then we can break it down to the moment and just coming back into that presence, into that awareness in every moment. Like, is this sustainable? This feeling that I have right now? And just asking ourselves that moment to moment in our own energetic experience. And again, as you go up to, sort of larger viewpoints or perspectives, if you will, there are going to be interspersed in there moments of passion and excitement or sort of intensity, like sprints, basically, that are going to make it, that maybe in that moment wouldn't be sustainable, but in the long run are. And that kind of goes back to the Tao Te Ching. For everything there is a time, right? There's a time for resting, there's a time for running, there's a time for being ahead, a time for being behind. And so it's just continuing to come back to that larger picture of sustainability and balance, and knowing that life is a marathon rather than getting super stressed out about doing everything at once, or about how overwhelming and like constricting it feels when we come into that. So, by the way, I hope you guys had super happy holidays. I've been thinking about you all. I love you and miss you very much when I'm not leaving these videos. I really do. I think about this community so much and just how much it means to be connected in this way and for all of us to be connecting here. And it's really sacred and it feels sustainable. Like, it feels sustainable for me to be creating this community the way that I am, little by little. And it feels sustainable to feel this connection to you guys. But for instance, something that's not sustainable for me is responding to every YouTube comment as soon as they are posted, or perhaps ever, So, but this is a perfect example, because it's an example between, so what is sustainable? Maybe not replying to every YouTube video, but leaving these videos is sustainable. Communicating with you guys this way is sustainable. Leaving these messages and letting you know that I care about you so much. I care about you so much that you're in this community is sustainable in this way. So do you see what I'm saying with that? Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Another way to think of it is work smarter. See, I always want to say work harder. That tells you where I've come from. Work harder, work smart. Work smarter, not harder. So again, and I think I'll have a lot more to say about this. These are just some thoughts about it for now. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts about sustainability, because I love conceptualizing in and activating the thought of sustainability, the energy of sustainability in relation to our own energetic states. Like, you know, if it goes back to that our heartbeats, right, have different signatures. So like angers is all over the place and is all over everywhere. Whereas like gratitude is like this even, it's sustainable. So there are so many ways we can think about this, but coming back to overall moment to moment, that intentionality of sustainability in the energies that we are activating and that we are experiencing. And in the choices that we're making, because again, I want every day to be sustainable. I want my long term to be sustainable. So what are some ways that you guys are looking at things where you're like, oh, I feel like I must do this to convey this. For instance, I must respond to every YouTube comment to show you guys how much I care. Not sustainable. Versus, oh, there is a sustainable, balanced, long run way to continue showing this community how much I care, and hopefully reply to comments and find more sustainable ways to manage that. But even that, like finding little by little, moment by moment, more sustainable ways to manage things rather than having this big freak out of, I have to figure this out now. And kind of always having that feeling of, I have to figure this out now. That's not sustainable. What is sustainable is continuing to come back to that feeling of, right now, everything's great. And right now, everything's perfect. And there is, like right now, everything's okay. And there is a solution coming to me for this. And there is a way to implement the solution for this in a sustainable, gradual, balanced way. Like just that energy of balance and sustainability. Honestly, just coming, it's like, and this is one way I like to think about it. I got this parable or metaphor or example from The Power of Kabbalah by Yehuda Berg. But it's the difference between, it goes back to proactivity, which is sustainable, reactivity, not sustainable. So reactivity is like a big flash of light, like a big explosion that you get to have when you do something reactive, when you entertain some sort of basically action or emotion that really isn't sustainable, like do something sprinty or a big flash, a big firework of light, versus not sustainable, because it's like this big burst of energy that's then followed by darkness because it used all the energy and it's not sustainable. Versus what is sustainable is that eternally and evenly burning flame. So I'd love to hear more of you guys' thoughts about sustainability, working smarter, not harder, being in it for the long run, being balanced. You know, sustainability is not usually a word we hear talked about when it comes to our own energetic experience, but it's been one that's really speaking to me, and that then I think has principles that can tie in with practices of sustainability for instance, the earth. So I love you guys very much. My hands are absolutely freezing, so I'm going to go now. I would like to give a shout out to a couple people, to my good friends Cynthia and Rebecca Weed for this beautiful ring in memory of their sister Liz Weed, and to my good friend John Wells for these amazing socks, Glacier Pendleton edition. And I'll just show you guys, see if we can see the full moon back here. Oops. Where is it? There it is. So there's the full moon. And I'll just show you guys, oh, there's people over here, but suffice to say, the Gestalt community, and much love.